This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. Welcome in as we get set to, kind of do the next day thing on this Edmonton Oilers, game against the Dallas Stars. A 3-2 final that I think looks a lot worse on the scoreboard than it was overall for the Edmonton Oilers. A game in which both goalies gave their team more than enough of a chance to win. I think a game in which the Oilers had plenty of opportunities to win rather than fall 3-1. And a game as well where the Dallas Stars really at times hung on, but at times also dictated to the Oilers, unlike they did in game number 1. So exciting to see here kind of where we flow through this conversation this morning. But friends, I will say if you are new to the channel, I would encourage you right here, right now, today, to hit that subscribe button, simply because we're closing in on 16,000 subscribers. Came also close during the live stream last night, 15,992. So we're looking for 8, and away we go. But for the Oilers last night, right, the goal scorers, quite simply for the Oilers, only one of them, and that's, I don't care what you think about the Oilers and goaltending and defense and all that. One goal is not enough for the Oilers to win in the playoffs. 2 last night would have been enough to make it interesting. Connor Brown scores the only goal of the game. Cody Ceci, Warren Foegele find a way to get on the score sheet on that Connor Brown goal. What's kind of upsetting in a way about that is, of course, you waste a goal from Connor Brown. You've gotten, 5 or 6 of those all year, including the regular season, and you waste it in an effort that you end up losing, which necessarily an extra bounce would have changed the whole course of the game. So it's not that you can be too upset, but it's also like, hey, that's a really good moment for this team to see Connor Brown scoring a playoff goal, and you just don't get the result in terms of the win. And that's the thing. In terms of playoffs, there is no really, oh, that was a feel-good loss. It's like you still lost, right? That's the tough part. But the loss indicates that you now have a split heading home to Edmonton, which, friends, for those of you that know how the playoffs work, if you look at the home ice now left in this series, the Oilers have 3 games, the Dallas Stars have 2. Well, that is a welcome sign. The Oilers officially, for right now, as long as they win game number 3 at home, have home ice in this series for the time being, and that is a huge plus given the fact that 2 games at home in Rogers Place, given how electric that place can get. And you see Dallas's arena can get pretty loud, but at the same rate too, there was a lot of quiet moments in there. So you know Rogers Place is rocking start to finish usually every game, as long as the Oilers give the fans a very steady Eddie, good effort to cheer about. So we'll see where the Oilers go with that on home ice, but the split is, of course, the most important thing coming out of last night's effort. 29 shots on goal for the Oilers, 25 for Dallas, right? The empty net goal for Dallas doesn't go against Stuart Skinner, who ends up being the 3rd star last night. 917 save percentage, 22 saves. So somehow, some way, in a losing effort, Stuart Skinner ups his save percentage in this series again. And then Jake Ottinger, 966 save percentage. He was kind of the story of the game. The Oilers threw a lot on him. There was at times it felt like maybe the Oilers weren't throwing the best quality shots on him, but at the same rate too, I think the Oilers formula is very simple. In this series, they had a couple moments there where they threw the puck on net and crashed the net. That's obviously how Connor Brown scored on the rebounds. So I think there's a little bit of a book maybe that the Oilers have on Jake Ottinger, and to be said, you're not going to beat him every single time, even if you have the book on him, right? Jake Ottinger is a pretty good goalie. So that said, a 1-1 split in Dallas isn't necessarily anything that's going to kind of shock anyone or upset anyone overall. I know last night the way that game went and the way it was kind of tight the whole way through, it is kind of upsetting to see the Oilers lose that one eventually. But I think the toughest part of it overall was just watching the Oilers at the end of the hockey game, or after the empty netter from Esa Lindell, watching them get that power play, watching them get a couple of chances, right? There was about 2-3 minutes left on the clock, or so it seemed, 2 minutes, and it just seemed like, oh, this one still has a chance, and they just never really generated that grade A chance that ends up in the back of the net to make it interesting late after the Lindell goal. So it is what it is. Again, I guess you can talk about the strategy of pulling the goaltender a little bit there as well for the Oilers following the situation there with Lindell just basically ripping it from center ice and scoring a very easy empty net goal. I think the Oilers, not saying they botched the empty net pull, but at the same rate too, it didn't seem like they had control, nor did they feel like they were set up to defend it. Bouchard kind of drifted into there, and Matthias Ekholm, I think it was, didn't even know that the net was empty or whatever, trying to defend it. So kind of tough to watch the defense on that empty net goal, but again, I don't even think the Oilers were fully set up to have the net empty at that point based on kind of the reactions of some of the players getting back on Lindell's shots. So the other side too last night out, kind of something that got away from the Oilers as the game went on. Dallas really started hitting the body a little bit more. I know the hits were pretty even after the first period, but they ended up finishing up 31-20 for Dallas by the end of the game. And that's where, again, as the Oilers have gotten into trouble against LA and Vancouver in these playoffs, is your series will be a lot harder if you're going to continue to get out hit game in, game out. So I know game one was a little better effort in that department. I'm hoping game three will be as well. And I mean, 28-27, the face-offs for the Oilers, that's been a welcome, awesome sign. If you would have told me the Oilers are through 2 games pretty much 500 in the dot against Dallas, that was going to be awesome. Giveaways, 6-5. Takeaways, another one that you can look at there. Dallas doing a good job stripping the puck off the Oilers, and I think there's a lot of instances, if you look back at game 2, where it's like, the Oilers have a chance here, and then all of a sudden Dallas just pokes stick, gone, right? So tough there. And I think another kind of similar thing to the hits last night is if you look at it for the Oilers, 22 block shots for Dallas. So like I said, the Oilers threw a lot towards Ottinger, just couldn't get it towards the back of the net. And for the Oilers, 9 block shots. Again, that Jamie Benn goal to start the hockey game. If Brett Kulak gets the block there, we're talking about a completely different situation this morning than we are right now. So kind of a couple of things again for the Oilers to clean up, but again, that kind of takes away from the fact that it was a really good game from the Edmonton Oilers despite the result. But again, there's no feel-good losses in the playoffs. Either win or you don't, and we didn't, so it is what it is, as the Edmonton Oilers look to try and get back in the win column on Monday night. Again, for those of you wondering what the upcoming games are going to be, it is, of course, Edmonton against Dallas, 6:30 p.m. on Monday, and then again on Wednesday when the Pirates have a ball game, but I'll be joining you down here in the studio for the broadcast of the 6:30 p.m. Wednesday game. So friends, thanks for being aboard here this morning. Just wanted to kind of recap a couple of things I thought of over the course of the night, and I think now we look forward to game number 3. This series is going to go long, and I'm looking forward to seeing where it takes us by the end of it all. So friends, I'm up on out of here.